Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Dobar dan.
Hello.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Hi. Pozdravljeni.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing good.
Good morning, fellow Euroscola ambassadors.
The future of the environment is one of the most discussed themes in the world. Currently, the world's population is consuming all of our natural resources. 80% of the world's forests have been destroyed for human use, and half of all species in the world will be extinct within 100 years. So, we are clearly the last generation that can change the course of global warming, but also the ones that feels its consequences. The change is in our hands. We all have the duty to change this.
We believe that it's possible to stop this global collapse by changing the behavior of population in relation to environmental issues and with measures taken by governments. We can't forget, there is no planet B.
My question is about the famous manifestation on yellow vests that's happened all over France. Given that security and peace is one of the European Union values, and France too is one of these members, also remember that these events are spreading to other countries. In your opinion, should European Union intervening, and if the answer is yes, what measure and in what way in European Union could do that? Thank you.
We know that the European leaders have said the Brexit withdrawal agreement is not for open renegotiation after appeals from Theresa May. What will be the European Union doing if their parliament will vote against Brexit?
Well, I would like to please everyone present in this session. The Stop Soros law, approved by the Hungarian Parliament in June, criminalizes and punishes with prison sentences individuals or organizations that help immigrants. This law clearly violates human rights. So I would like to know what the European Union has been doing to stop this disregard to the human rights and what measures are going to be taken. Don't you think that the asylum laws in the European Union have to be updated? Thank you.
Every law has its limits. Every mountain has its peak. Every island has its coast. How do you decide where a certain change in the law ends? How do you decide when does a change in the law help another group and make it so it doesn't at the same time make it harmful to another?
First of all, I would like to wish you all a great session. Nowadays, if we analyze our countries of European Union, we realize that it is a big advance of the nationalisms in the take of power, and we can talk about Hungary, Sweden, but most shocking, in my opinion, is Polonia's case. In this country, the governance Justice and Freedom Party, where does not exist justice, freedom, democracy, and human rights. They control the social media and judicial system, eliminating the separation of power. As we said in our speech, Europeans seems to have entered in a crisis of amnesia, because it looks like we are returning to the past before democracy. This is a total disvalue for the European project, and it happening here in European Parliament. I don't want to live in a world with limits of freedoms. So, so I ask you, in your opinion, what is the future of Europe? Thank you.
My questions are, the CAP reform. So the CAP is a common agricultural policy, and what agriculture does is supplies food for us to eat. And we already have the 2020 cuts. And what I'm asking is, what is the future after the 2020 cuts in Europe? Because with population going to grow to 9.8 billion by 2050, I'm wondering what's the future in Europe. Thank you.
My question is about the Article 13, and I wanna know what are the EU copyright law amendments, and how can this article limitate our freedom in our speech?
I think that salary is one of the most important things which makes problems in our countries. For example, in Latvia, some doctors earn 1,000 in month. Well, at the same time, in UK, maybe they have like 5,000. We already have the same currency, but we still have different salaries for the same job. What can we do to change it?
Is it possible to pursue economic development without endangering the planet? Definitely yes, we think so, because as you know, one of the most important issues of the world is absolutely global warming, climate change, and that's because industries use coal, carbon, and non-renewable sources of energies. So we think that we can absolutely encourage industries to use renewable sources of energies thanks to a lot of economic solutions. So thanks to tax reliefs, for example, thanks to the incentive for new buildings which are not yet fully operational to cover a quota of their energy needs for domestic hot water with renewable sources, as well as using renewable energy systems. Renewable sources of energy are the ones that can never be exhausted, as they are provided by nature. We are talking about hydroelectric energy, solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy. So we have to encourage industries to use them. And also, we should encourage people, because people have to be aware of the risks of using renewable sources, non-renewable sources of energies. Illnesses and a lot of issues that we live today are on account of them. Let's talk about health. So using renewable sources of energy could really help the environment and could help our health. Probably we should realize that we are not the owner of the world, but we are the guest of the world. We have to be respectable.
The first point is about religion. Many people in airports, they get, or even anywhere, they get scanned for any weapons that they may have or any other things. But most people are discriminated due to religion. For example, an example that was given to me in the group is Muslim. For wearing traditional clothes, they were more likely to be researched and looked after in terms if they didn't have any weapons. I'd like to change this because it's kind of discriminating one side of religion. The next item I'd like to talk to is about work. And an example that was given to me was in Romania. In Romania, men earn way more money than women do. And this was given to me by the group, and I think this should be changed because it is unfair and is discriminating one side. So this should be changed because two sides should be treated equally rather than in favor of one side. The next thing I'd like to talk about is education. Education should be teaching us all our rights, and also we should know our rights. Anyone here know all the rights off by heart? I don't think so. This is why I think everyone in school should be learning about their rights and should be learning anything about their rights so that they know that they can stand up for themselves, and also just in case if something happens to them, they can protect themselves.
First of all, I would like to mention the idea of design market, music festivals, and in general social events. And now I'm listing you some of them. First of them, design markets, where is selling food, souvenirs. We have seen, I think, in Strasbourg. It's nearby to the parliament. And after that, it's music festival. And even our group have imagined the situation of creation of week of movies. And the purpose of this week to introduce, explain, and make people love our European heritage. Because in our group opinion, all citizens of European countries have to know about your past.
All the delegates clarified that decided that European things and national things should be clarified. This means that in case that a country is willing to undertake a measure to solve a national problem, but it's not in parallel with the general European political view, it can still be implemented if it's based on the law. And yeah, and so we will be able to follow the right path to our future. Secondly, we decided that it's also important to expand the existing European Union, especially the Eurozone, including more and more countries. And of course, these countries will contribute financially to the European world and help us solve many financial problems. And also, those countries will give solution. We as the European Union, we can give solution to global geopolitical problems, infusing those countries with the respect to the human rights, the ability to solve the problems by effective dialogue, which are basically the main values of the European Union.
I must start by saying that it wasn't easy to agree on this topic, as we had members with very different opinions. Anyways, our commission came up with three different proposals, one about migration and two about integration of these migrants. Firstly, we agreed that the European Union should evaluate each country and, based on their social and economical status, would fairly attribute a number of migrants to each member that each member should take in and integrate in their society. This would encourage a better integration of these migrants, as each country would have a number proportional to the EU's assessment. Then, in our report, we proposed the creation of a contract that the migrants would have presented to them as soon as they got to the EU borders, in which they would have certain options regarding the country they want to be integrated in. But in addition, they would have to agree to certain conditions set by the EU and those specific countries. The idea behind this is that migrants don't choose the country merely based on their preferences, but also having in mind the opportunities they will have there and the language they'll have to learn, for example. In addition to this, migrants would have to take a language exam after some time in that country in order to stay in the country they're in. Our third and last proposal is the creation of a school system, not only focused on the migrants, but also focused on the host country citizens' education towards acceptance and cultural coexistence. Migrants would attend free courses concerning languages, culture, fundamental rights and duties, and other important topics, whereas the people living in the host countries would be taught of the migrants' culture. For example, teachers at schools would have courses on this subject in order to prevent bullying or isolation.
Our generation is not really known as hard workers. People think that we are lazy, they think that we don't appreciate working, they think that we are inactive, and they think that we don't want to work with low salary. And they are right. Too many young people aren't motivated enough for working. It is our job to be active when searching for a job, but my group thinks that the EU has an ability to improve our motivation. The way European Union can improve that is by increasing the awareness among of youngsters about how to get a job or place to educate yourself, how to get workplaces and opportunities to work, why to work, because when working it's not just about money but also getting into work life and building a career. European Union has an organization called European Youth Employment Initiative. Has any of you ever heard of that? Yes, that's what I thought. Because European Youth Employment Initiative is way too invincible now. People aren't aware of them, and we don't even know that it exists. My group thinks that European Union should give more funds to European Youth Employment Initiative in order to increase the awareness of youngsters about the reason for working. When we were talking with my group, internships were the word that was mentioned many times. We should support companies that can't afford internships for youngsters. And our group thinks that every youngster should take part in internships at least once a year. Because internships are even more important than we think. Internships are a way to us to see what work life actually is, and it's also a way for us to see what we actually want. We also think that there should be more cooperation between young people and schools and workplaces. Therefore, we could combine work and school even better than we do now, and also employees could see what we, young people, are capable of. And with better cooperation, it would also be easier to move to work life, and there would be more jobs for more students. Thank you.